Hey, it's 9:57 p.m. by a clock that's 7 minutes fast, Eastern Standard Time. And what is it, the 6th? Wednesday here, April 2020. Yeah. And before I forget, I want to say to someone, maybe more than one person, is going through a lot of trouble to create profiles, channels, whatever you want to call those things you create, sock things where there's no content on them. Just to say some stuff on my videos that later I come on to look at and hide you from the channel and the shit's not there. Those of you who your comments do stay there, I hide you from the channel. Because, well, you say stuff, those of you who say this stuff, oh, great video, I loved it, great content, and you didn't even watch it or click like on it. I mean, I know you didn't watch it because I'm still logged in when, and it's like 30 seconds later after it got uploaded that you make your comment. So the video is like fresh. You're the first person to come on it and you make that comment and you didn't even watch 30 seconds of the video. So yeah, I hide those comments. But you other people who you come on there and you make your mean comments and you call me clock watcher. I love that comment, clock watcher, okay? Because it's okay. I cannot watch the clock and just babble on forever. And I don't always watch the clock. That's why I've been putting videos up on my other channels. But I love that, and I'd leave that comment up. And the other comments you make about stuff, because for some reason, your comments when I go to the shit, they're gone. So I don't know if you're deleting them, or if YouTube's deleting them, or what. I'm not deleting them, because, well, those are actually comments that they have something to do with something. They're not like a spam comment or whatever, coming on there trying to get people to come over to your channel and shit, because, well, some of those people do have like content. But you sock channels that make all your little mean comments, it's like, I'm not taking your mean comments down, they're just disappearing. You're probably doing it yourselves. Maybe you realize it's embarrassing what you do. I don't know. Yeah. Gargoyle lady who drove by here pointing at the house all menacingly, snarlingly and talking all mean and shit. That's not the way to handle this situation, Get rid of that retard you got and submit yourself to me. Stop using your mouth for witchcraft to talk shit and gossip. Put some lipstick on, shave your pussy, give yourself an enema and a fucking douche, and fucking get ready to ride my dick. You see, that's how you handle me. You don't fucking think against me and call yourself you're going to do something to try and do something to me, because it's just going to backfire in your face. Look at your old man. Poor simple fucker. He's like Wile E. Coyote and I'm like the Roadrunner and shit. He just keeps doing his dumb shit with his little Acme shit, to fuck with skunks for no reason. Just like, for no reason, leave the hole. Dumbass. Stupid. One hole is better than all that dumb shit you got going, boards all up and down shit, like some kind of retarded old fuck who's worried about everything except for what he should be worried about. Your woman's a witch who sits on a fucking porch and gossips with other people with her mouth, loosing negative energy into the world instead of using her mouth to suck dick. You are at fault for that. Why don't you shave your fucking dick, take a shower, learn how to talk right, learn how to think about something besides fucking a hole in your goddamn ground, and fucking goddamn get the bitch to fucking goddamn start sucking your dick with her witchcraft mouth. You see? That's what you do about that, old man. You can't do it, I'll ride your bitch. She can drive me around too. She got a license. Yeah. Got a kitty out there. I interrupted some cats fighting last night. I opened the window and yelled, "Hey, quit that!" Because, well, they were I think one of them was beating up on the little skinny one that comes up here. And I've actually got footage from my little surveillance cam on the front porch in the middle of the night, like 3 o'clock in the morning. That little kitty on the bench looking out all over the neighborhood, meowing, all lonely and shit, just meow, meow. Like, is there anybody there? Is there, any friends or family? And I felt for him because, well, I've been doing the same meowing. My sister finally popped up, after years of there not being anybody, no family or anything. So, yeah, Aslan led me into tickling yesterday, and I came back and I had a tick crawling around on my head, gave me willies, and now I just feel like I got ticks all over me. And then today, there was a tick crawling on him, and I pulled it off and burned it. And a little while ago, probably an hour or two ago, 3 hours ago now, John was feeling him up for ticks and found one on his neck actually connected to him. So we had to heat up some tweezers and get that off him. So it's like, yeah, man, the ticks are fucking bad this year. And then Aslan seems to find them. He's just like a tick magnet, man. And he doesn't just get them on himself. He gets them on whoever's walking him. So that means that they're, he's leading you into like tick heaven, where they're not only down low where they can get to him, they're up high. Either that or they crawled all over me from where we're sitting. Maybe where we're sitting is a bad spot and there's a lot of ticks. And we're stirring them up. They're under the leaves. We're walking on and shit. And then we sit down and they start crawling all over us. Maybe that's happening. That could be. But I know there's been times that I didn't touch the ground, walking him like, last year and the year before, that I ended up with ticks in my hair, and it's like with a hat on and a hoodie over my head, so it's like, yeah, they get up high too. So I changed the oil on this thing today and put a little piece of cardboard behind the washer because, well, I think that's, think what happened is the kids who put the oil filter on too tight also just kept riffing down on the oil plug and flattened out the washer, the soft washer. So it's like, it's not, the lip is keeping it from sealing, the lip on the bolt itself. So I put a piece of cardboard up underneath that washer since I couldn't find any washers that size. I had some washers. I don't know what happened. I had a collection of washers. I didn't think to look in this thing where I had it in my hand later, but it was too late. I already had it put back in. But, I pretty much got it where it's sealed up better. And then played hell getting the filter off. John had some big pliers to do that, some big channel locks. Thank God we were able to get that off without too much hassle, because I hate fucking with filters, man. You bust them open, putting a screwdriver through them, and they gush everywhere and shit. It's just fucked. It's bad enough they leak everywhere when you take them loose. But when you gotta try and get it loose and it's gushing all over the place, it's like, that's fucked. So, yeah, we were blessed in that area. I was today, and I overfilled the trans a tad because it was probably overfilled when I got it. I think this trans might have to be overfilled a little bit to function properly, but it seems to be running better. I haven't driven it nowhere or anything, so I don't know if it's like going to drive any better, if the trans is going to perform any better being a little bit over full. But I read a post that said that these transes need to be a little bit over full to shift right. I don't know how true that is, but I know it leaked a little bit of trans fluid since I got it, and maybe they had it overfull. And there's sometimes transes, if they're overfull, they'll leak a little bit until they're not overfull. So that could be what it is. So I had an oil drip and a trans drip, and the trans drip stopped. but the oil drip didn't. And I got that to where now it's like not dripping. I just got like, it seems like I might still have a little bit of seepage from the plug. So the next time I change the oil, I'm going to make a point to have a washer for it. And I got a good Fram filter on there. And it's like I couldn't even get it a whole turn tight. So I'm hoping that's tight enough. But the kids that put the fucking other filter on there, it came off hard all the way until the rubber wasn't touching it anymore because, well, they didn't put no grease on the seal. It's like if you put grease, you know, just some axle grease on the seals, when you put them filters on, it's like they come out so much easier. Especially once you break them loose, they just screw right off with your hand. Pardon me. So this one had a weird design where my filter wrench wouldn't work good for it. I didn't really buy that filter wrench for this anyway. I bought it for Lisa's Jeep. But just about any wrench would work on hers. So yeah, it's been like one of them days where I woke up. I was really just exhausted and wore out, so it's like I was depressed. And I didn't want to get up, and I forced myself up, and I got up. And I went out and fed outdoor kitties and shit. I didn't do litters until I got up the second time because, well, you can set them too early. You know, they should be a whole 24 hours, or, you know, maybe 26 sometimes. Depending on when you're doing it. So anyway, I still have my jacket on. Johnny Gray has a fear of the outdoor me in any fashion. If I have a hat on or a jacket on or anything, you know, to go outside, he runs from the room when he sees me. Well, for some reason, he didn't notice I had the jacket on in the kitchen, so he jumped up on the island and he's meowing at me to pick him up. So I picked him up as usual and, you know, went to pull him in close to me to cuddle me like usual, which he'll put his head right underneath my chin, right in my neck, you know, and I'll pet him and he'll like purr and like hug my arm with his paws and shit. And then eventually he'll get like rambunctious where he tries to bite my hand, and then I'll put him down. Well, this time I didn't think about it when it happened, so it bummed me out. But this time, when I pulled him in close to me, he felt the jacket, and he tripped out and started, like, scurrying to get loose, get down. And before I could let go of him, you know, because I tried lifting him up and holding him, and that action caused his back paws, as he was, like, trying to run, you know, get footing in the air. One of his back paws swiped across my cheek, man, and just sliced it wide open, yo. So it's like blood's everywhere and shit, you know, and it's like my cheek is like wide open. I had to push it back closed and put pressure on it and shit. And now it's like it just looks like a little scratch, except for the scab over it keeps getting really big because every once in a while it'll seep a little bit, and I'll touch it with tissue and flatten it out, and the scab looks horrible. But I cleaned the scab off earlier to see how bad the cut looks, and it doesn't look like a big bad cut anymore. It just looks like a scratch. So I'm going to have a scratch scar on my cheek, on my right cheek, and up and down, straight up and down scar when this heals. But at least I didn't have to get stitches and shit. And I was able to stop the bleeding. See, it's a good thing I'm not eating them pills all the time, because my blood would have been too thin to clot. You know, it seems like it's already thin for some reason. So, you know, I was like, I went and laid back down. As Lisa got up, and I went and laid back down, and Aslan came in with me and laid down on the bed with me, and then Slinky Cat came out to compete for attention, and there you go, clock watcher. You see, I purposefully am going longer, and not as long as you want, though. Um, I was laying in the bed in the lab and with Aslan. Just gonna lay back down for a little while. And because I only got up like to have a cup of coffee and shit. For some reason I couldn't sleep. Shit was bugging me, and I was depressed and shit. So I decided like to get up and have a cup of coffee and do some shit, medicate, and see if just the medication will do something about my state of mind. Because sometimes that works. Just smoke a little bit and okay, yeah, I'm fine. So that's my first approach, is always try to just get rid of the state of mind, And it worked right up until I picked Johnny Gray up, and he scratched my face and fucked it all up. And then it's just like, oh man, my day was all fucked. I just felt dark and shit. And I went and laid down back in the lab with Aslan. Slinky Cat jumps up on the bed to compete for attention, so I'm petting him and Az. And then, like Frankie pops up and E.T. pops up. And Frankie and Slinky Cat will like get out of the way and just go lay down eventually on the bed, and so will Aslan. After he gets done getting petted and playing and shit and burying his head up underneath me and shit, he'll eventually go lay down. And so then E.T. decides, well, he wants to play with Aslan and me. Won't let Aslan fall back asleep or me. And I had to fucking keep fucking with him. And he's like bitey too when he's playing, which he doesn't play hard or bite hard or nothing, but he can catch you if you're not paying attention, where it's like, not biting hard, he can still hurt you. So, I laid there, fell asleep and shit. And I didn't figure it out about the jacket until, like this evening and shit. And it's just like, but that was already off me, because while I was laying there on the bed with the kitties, before I fell asleep, and before E.T. got up there all trying to fuck with Aslan and me, I had 3 kitties on the bed, but they were like, down towards the foot of the bed, and Aslan was up by me. And Slinky Cat was up by me. But then when Johnny Gray jumped up on the bed, Slinky Cat went down towards the foot of the bed. And Johnny Gray, who's kind of big now, he's like one of the biggest kitties, but he thinks he's a little tiny cat still. He still thinks he's a little baby kitty. And he jumped up there like, he's sticking his head up, because like I lay with a pillow over my head, a pillow under my head and a pillow over my head. And he does that thing he's done ever since he was a little kitty, where he sticks his head up underneath the pillow to see my face and reaches out and touches me with his paw and starts purring and shit. And he did that where, it's like he stuck his head under there and he reached up and touched me in my face and shit, and it's like, he's like trying to apologize and shit, because it was like that's what it was like to me. It was like he was trying to apologize, and it was cute because to me he's still that little kitty, even though he's big, and he's dangerous. I mean, you see how dangerous he can be. He wasn't trying to hurt me, he was just trying to get down. And he fucked me up. He could have bled me out if he had like caught like my neck right on one of my veins or something. Yeah, I would have bled out before I would have been able to do anything about it. So yeah, it's like he is dangerous, but just because he's a scaredy cat, not because he's a violent cat. Now Gato, on the other hand, he's big, fat, and muscular. And like if you're doing something to him that he don't like trying to give him a bath or something, he might bleed you out. I know he sliced my arm all up, man, and chewed my fingers up and shit. He fucked me up the last time I tried to give him a bath. And there was blood everywhere, and he ended up more bloody than clean. So it's like, all right, fuck it. I'm not washing you no more. We're waiting. And there we go, it's going in the movie maker. But I found out after that cats have this thing where if you bathe a cat, it's almost like you're insulting its hygiene, and it demeans it, you know, where it takes it a while to get past that with you and shit. And I didn't know that because when my grandma used to bathe her cats once in a while, you know, and would blow dry them and brush them out, you know, especially this one cat she had called Kitty. It was a little white cat, and when it was a baby kitten, I had stayed a few nights at my brother's house, and that little kitten got attached to me and used to sleep on my neck. Well, my brother and his girl ended up giving that cat to my grandma, and that cat grew into one of them big fluffy cats. I mean, with just, you know, big fluffy hair, a big white fluff ball, and she was called Kitty. And my grandma used to dote on her and brush her and blow dry her because she washed her. But my grandma also has always been this type of person to let her cats outside, living in the city. So she's had a lot of cats get hit by cars in the street, right there on her block, right there by the house. She's lost a lot of cats that way because, well, you can't let your cats out in the city. This city's got places where you can let your cats out, like here, if it wasn't for the evil white devil poisoning them and shit, and hating skunks and hating homeless cats, and having the mentality that he has the right to regard them as pests and kill them, which he doesn't. To some people like him are pests because they want to kill animals, you see? That's where I'm at with that. To me, he's a pest. Should I just kill him? Since, you know, that's his answer to pests, is you kill him, right? Because that's what he said with his retarded tone. Yeah, I'll kill him. It's like, shit. I wouldn't admit that to somebody even if I did it. So it's been a pretty interesting day. I haven't even covered it all yet. I've just been talking away. But check this out. While we were out on the walk, I wanted to go a little bit longer to give these guys a little bit more time, you know, without me here, you know. I mean, when I'm here, I spend most of my time in the lab anyway. Almost all of it, really. And, so yeah, we went walking, and I walked the trail all the way to the end, thinking, that, okay, well, it comes out, la la la, where it's a common area where everybody can just walk out, right? Well, it leads to what looked like a resort, right? But it also looked like it could just be somebody's private property. And I'm like, well, this is the only way out. And I went down next to the place, and I decided not to go all the way around it and through the yard. I decided to cut between the garage and the house on this little, like, patio foyer. So I did it real quick. And there's a car sitting there with the fucking trunk open. And I'm like, oh my God, Aslan, this is somebody's house. You know, we're walking through private property right now. And I'm hoping like hell I'm not scaring nobody, or, you know, nobody will like start fucking with me. And we hurried up and walked up off the property and over where like there's a building next to it that's like having construction done on it and shit. So I could see where someone else had been walking around that building with their dog, their tracks and shit in the sand. So I took Aslan up that. I went walking next to the building. When I got next to the building, I saw the woman come out with a box heading towards the car, you know. And she puts the box in the car, and I yell over to her. She didn't hear me. I yell again. And it's the same woman that I've seen walking with a dude a couple different times on the trail. And both times she's talked to me. And both times Aslan didn't bark at her, even though he barks at everyone else who tries to talk to me. He didn't bark at her. And she's about my age. And she's attractive and very nice. And she has a nice voice. You know, a voice is important, you know, especially when you're thinking about her moaning or anything while you're fucking her. Unless like they're someone like me, transgender, where I sound totally different sexually. Because, well, I don't talk while we're fucking, but my moaning sounds feminine. But anyway, I don't know why I said that. Anyway, I'm yelling to her, she keeps acting like she can't hear me, even though I can hear her fine. I asked her about the trail, and she keeps walking over closer as she's giving me answers. And she's like, oh no, this is private property. Over there around the little circle, which like there's a little track, and then on the outside of it is like a maintenance circle. And the gate just happens to be open on that, right? I get to that though. So, she's like, oh, over there is an opening. That's where you're supposed to go. This is private property here. I'm like, oh, really? Well, from the back, it looks like a resort. And I just walked through it. I'm sorry I walked on your property. She's like, oh, okay. And no problem. She's like, but yeah, over there is where you can go through. And I'm like, well, I just followed it this way for the very first time, you know, because I've been going there for years. And I saw them walking from that way, so I thought there was a common trail like that led out to the neighborhood. So anyway, she proceeds to tell me that she's either the daughter or the daughter-in-law of the guy who used to be the mayor for 42 years. And she's like, that used to be his house. So I take it to maybe he died or something, and she's moving stuff out, or she's moving his stuff out, or maybe she was just moving some stuff and she lives there, who knows. But I just, you know, she emanated that thing where it's like, hey, yeah, I wouldn't mind having her as my bitch, you know. She had a thing where like she gave up on coloring her hair, so she had like a long gray streak in her hair that actually it worked, almost like she did it on purpose, but you know she didn't. She doesn't emanate that aura that, like, you know, she's the type that would do that to her hair. She just let it go. But yeah, she's about my age and she seems very dignified and nice. Here comes that one little skinny hungry kitty again. I feel so bad for this guy because he was out there crying, looking for some kind of solace, somebody. And the other night I was sitting out here and the van was running and two kitties were sitting over there trying to decide which one's going to come over here first, right? Then when one headed over here, the other one like came running up behind him. But when the other one got over here, he was so worried about the cat behind him that he didn't notice the van was running, so he was going to run up under the van. And then he noticed right when he got up to it that it was started, so he's like did one of them Cyborg's cartoonish run things around the van and stopped, you know, spun and looked. It's like, whoa, you know. And it took him a long time to recover from that and just move on to go get food. It keeps taking him a long time to go on up and get food every time. It's like, you know, I sit here and I watch for him and see him, and then it's like, you know, he usually comes up and within 10 minutes or so I would want to go in. Like, you know, say 10 minutes from now, I would want to go in. But he's going to take almost all of that just to work his way up to the food, and then he's going to be at the food for 5 or 10 minutes. So if I don't want to spook him or bother him, then I'm going to have to sit here for a while longer and wait until he's done going to get some food again. Well, this will be the second time he's been up here tonight. He went over and ate a little pile I had over in front of the garage. And because of the traffic, you know, these guys, I I've been putting it out, you know, coming out and putting some out a couple times a night. And the other day, I don't know if I mentioned this in one of the previous videos, but the other day while I was sitting out here with Aslan, and he had the back door open, he was sitting there with the door open. Two big, overfed, well-groomed dogs with collars on from down the street got loose. Little neglectful kids left the gate open or something, and they got loose and came running down here. And the one big golden retriever, she's a really pretty dog, just decides that the food here is for her, so she's going to go up there and eat the cat food. And I go up there, and I literally have to stop and, like, get in her face and scream at her to leave it alone, you know, because, well, she has no fear and no compulsion to obey a human in any way. And then she came out here and was going to fuck with the rose bushes, dig them up or something. I don't know what the fuck she thought she was going to do to the rose bushes. But I had to, like, get in her face again and get her to leave. And when they came up, I reached up and pushed the button to shut the back door, because Aslan was on the seat, so I knew he was clear of it. And because he went nuts and started barking and shit, and wouldn't shut up, just kept trilling. So, you know, jumping at the window and shit. And so it's like, you know, that dog and the big black dog that was with her, the big black one went like up in between the house and then the garage next door, and probably shit up next to the house. And then the golden retriever followed it over when they went down the street, went across the street, was over there, then came back over here, went down the street that way, and there was a dog out. I don't know if the people brought their dog in before they got down there. But the black dog didn't come back this way. The golden retriever did, but she stopped down there and turned around and was barking like she was trying to tell the other dog, come on, leave that dog alone, let's go. So she went back, and I seen that she went down there and went to the house. It's like, yeah, that's the same dog I see them kids running with all the time. They run around the block with that dog, and they don't usually have it on a leash. So, yeah, the dog will stay with them. It's probably a good dog. It's just when it came down here and saw the food and, you know, saw stuff that it was interested in, it was like, you know, it made me have to be mean to it to get it to leave. And I didn't feel sorry for it in any way because, well, you know, it's an overfed, well-kept dog. It's a groomed dog. You know, I'm not starving it by telling it it can't have extra food that it's not supposed to be getting, because it ain't supposed to be down here anyway. So I didn't feel bad about that at all. Now, if it was a hungry homeless dog, I would have let it eat, you see. And you can tell, though, and around here you don't really see any homeless dogs. You see you know, well-kept dogs, usually with collars on, that, you know, got loose out of somebody's yard. And they just out running around, they're grubbing and shit. And I know there was some young people living in a house over there, 2 houses over from the corner, that used to let their black dog out on garbage day. I filmed it. It's still on the Northern Michigan Handyman thing. Something about white devil lets dog eat on garbage day, lets dog eat garbage or something. It might be in the unlisted playlist now. But yeah, I filmed that dog one of the many times because it was like every Monday. Garbage day used to be on Monday. It was a different garbage company. And they used to let that dog out on Monday. You never seen it on any other day, but on Monday you'd see it out there digging through the trash down there, eating garbage, and just making a big mess that the garbage guys didn't clean up. So it's like, you know, it would just get scattered. You know, that's where all the garbage around here came from, is from, you know, that, just years of that. And it finally stopped, like maybe they saw the video or something a couple months after I filmed it. It stopped. It's just, it was a habit. It was an every Monday habit, and it just stopped. And you stopped seeing the dog out there tearing the garbage up, eating it. So yeah, we seen some people out today. We took the little bus to the dispensary. We had to ride all the way up to 612 from 72 on Manistee River Road. Then over a little bit further west and up further to pick up one dude. You come all the way back down and come across and go up into another neighborhood to pick up some kids. And, you know, but on the way there, I was the only one, and the guy was actually able to wait for me. And he had one of them long black, like almost like long black crane nose masks. With the, you know, the bend at the end, the beak mask. And he was listening to the metal, and he's like, you know, a clean cut looking dude. So I'm like, it just busted me out. I told him, you should be bopping your head with that mask on, you know, to this song and shit. Because, well, the image would just be too rich, you know. It's such a clean cut dude listening to metal with that mask on, bopping his head and shit. The driver, this guy was the driver. So he waited for me at the dispensary because I had pre-ordered. And then we went on the long journey to pick up the other passengers. And I got dropped off here. And Lisa was home for lunch, just getting ready to jump in the car to head back to work. So it was kind of one of them things. And then I changed the oil on this thing. And then I took Kaz to the river. So yeah, I was kind of busy in spite of me sleeping most of the morning away, which I've been doing that a lot lately, getting up for an hour or two and you know, then going back to sleep for a little while, you know. Like once I got Az in the room with me, I can sleep better or something, I don't know. I noticed that lately I've been getting like that's when I get my good sleep, is once I've got him in the room with me. So I always want to at least take me a little nap, a few hour nap once I've got him in there with me. I thought I saw something moving like that kitty might have been up there eating. I know he's not starving because he ate quite a bit earlier, but he's like so skinny, man, and he's been eating here for a couple weeks, I know. Maybe longer than that. And it's like, okay, how is he still so skinny? Has he got a tapeworm? Has he got something wrong with him? Did he get some kind of weird poison in him? Because like E.T. used to be muscular and way bigger than he is now. Now he's all skinny and frail looking, you know, by comparison. I mean, he doesn't look like a frail, unhealthy cat by any means, but compared to what he was when you pick him up and he like weighs less than half of what he used to, you know. And it's like when he plays with you, he doesn't play hard anymore. It's like it's all soft and shit, and he just feels almost like he's fragile, you know, like you could break a bone in him easy or something, you know. So you want to handle him gentler than you do the other cats that have more muscle tone to them. But yeah, it just seems like something happened to him in 2017 and he never recovered from. And this other little homeless kitty looks like he's got the same condition. So it's like a mystery to me. Kind of like I want to look up the mayor. There was a mayor of this town for 42 years. Because, well, I've met his daughter or daughter-in-law, whatever. And all 4 times that I've talked to her, this time at his house being the last time, she was very nice to me. So, and it seemed like she liked my dog, and my dog didn't have no negative reaction to her, which was weird because he doesn't let people talk to me without, you know, yiping at him. All right, y'all, we've done this long enough. This will be a long video for y'all. There you go. One-worder. Y'all be blessed and be blessings if you can. I know I try to be. If we can all do it, maybe we can change the world.